Hey golfers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at a drill I learned probably around 20 years ago from Rory McIlroy's golf coach. It's a drill that I still use today for my own game and for golfers that I teach. It's a super drill for helping you with your pitching, your wedges, those 3/4 knockdown shots into the green, and also a really good shot to have when you're playing in some wind and you really want to control the golf ball. So we're going to look at today what that drill is and how you can do it and apply it into your own game. Before we get started, if you could, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also for those that have watched my content for some time, you'll notice that while my walls are just bare concrete, so I wanted to ask a question. I have a few ideas that I want to do to cover this up and kind of make it look good. But some of you might have like home sim setups or something at home, or is there anything that you can think of that you might put on these walls to kind of sharpen it up a little bit? As I say, I have a couple of ideas, maybe some paneling or curtains, but just if you had any thoughts, let me know in the comments, and it'd be really cool just to kind of hear what people think, because as I say, you might have some home setups yourselves. Alright guys, so let's get into this drill and let's start improving that golf swing. Okay, so when it comes to these types of shots, the pitching, the 3/4 shots, the wedges, par doesn't become the primary goal. You know, when we're hitting a full shot or a driver, and I do have a video coming on downswing sequence, but we're trying to generate a lot of energy to come into that golf ball and propel it as far as we can. So think of like an overarm throw. We want to throw it as fast as we can when we're hitting those drivers and long irons and irons 7, 6 and things like that. But when it comes time to hitting a nice soft pitch or a nice flighted wedge, all of a sudden we don't need the same type of criteria and drive and everything through the shot, because we're not trying to hit it as far. We're trying to get good at controlling the distance. So it makes sense to soften everything out. And the way that I like to think about this, even though this is not exactly what's happening, but I want to think about it in this way, that when I make a swing for, we'll take kind of a 30, 40 yard pitch for this analogy. When we swing back, try and imagine, and our drill is really going to help you out with this. When you first try the drill, I'd like to say I make it look easy. Try it a few times and it will really become easy, and I guarantee you'll start crisp strikes on those wedges and pitches. But as we take this backswing, I like the thought, the sensation of the club head, the hands, the arms and the chest all kind of moving in one unit or at the same rate. Now in actual fact, that's not what's happening, because that would be more this way. Okay, there is a little bit of disassociation between them, but the feeling would be that we're matching it all up. We're swinging in rhythm and timing is perfect. So we go this way, back and through. So always keeping those hands in front of my chest. That's something we're going to notice from really good pitchers of the golf ball and wedge players, that everything's kind of moving as one unit. And when we do that, we'll find that we get much more consistent club head speed. So we're not here, we're not trying to drive it and hit it far. Everything's softer. We're letting this be our engine, and our hands and arms and club kind of swing along at the same sort of speed. So it's really controlled. It is not the best way to hit the ball far, but remember that that's not what this is about. When you're standing 40, 50 or even 80 yards away from the flag, it's not about hitting it far. It's about controlling the distance, controlling the flight, and obviously the strike as well. So this drill I'm about to show you is really good for doing just that, matching up our pivot with our hands and our club back and through, and really soften it out so that we can improve this really important area of our golf game. So let's take a look at the drill. So in order to do this drill correctly, we're going to need 2 golf clubs, okay? Similar in length, you can use a pitching wedge and a gap wedge or something, but not a long iron, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to take our normal kind of wedge setup, and we're going to take 1 club in our right hand, 1 club in our left hand, and we'll go to our setup position. Now notice I'm keeping around 4 or 5 inches between these 2 clubs, and they are parallel, so they're not this way or that way. They've got the same distance at the bottom where the club heads are and my hands. Now the goal here is, as we swing back to kind of just above hip height, we want to make sure that we can keep the distance between the two shafts, keep them parallel, both back and through this way. So keep repeating this. You'll notice in order to move these clubs, I'm having to use kind of my engine, my chest, my tummy. My legs are starting to work even though I'm not conscious of them, because I need them to work for this to happen. Back and through, continually keeping that parallel. Now, what might happen the first couple times you try this, when people hit these shots, they can tend to get a lot of wrist firing, and again, that's going to be inconsistent in terms of club head speed. We want to soften all this out for these shots. You might try this, and on the way down, you'll notice the right one might overtake, and that's showing there's too much activity in the right hand, and that's quite common when people are pitching. They can let the right hand fire this way. So this is a really good drill to try and keep everything moving at the same rate. I'll never forget whenever he showed me this drill, because I was kind of chipping a little bit back here and wristy and stabbing them, and they were great for coming out low with a bit of check, but I didn't really have that soft, gentle pitch shot with any consistency in where it landed. The first couple of times I tried it, the strike felt like, I can always remember it, felt like nothing else. I just really felt the club collect the ball on the way through. Again, more pressure for me, try and do this. Yeah, pretty decent. So that is such a good drill to try and match up the club head, the hands, the arms, and the chest, kind of with the pivot, back and through, and this becomes your engine. I always remember when he told me about it was because if you're under pressure, the thing that you don't want to happen, so say you got a good score going and a 30-yard pitch off a tight lie, what you don't really want is your hands and things to be doing it. While that can work in some cases, the bigger muscles, this engine, will not break down as much, because once you get the feeling of that two club parallel drill, you'll notice that this engine becomes quite simple, because it's just coming back and through, and the club is always staying in front. So there's no real firing going on, there's no driving, there's no mad stuff happening. Okay, so I'll run through the drill one more time. Two clubs, 4 or 5 inches apart, back just above hip height. Try and keep the same distance between them, back and through, and we'll start using this engine instead of these, which can be really good on the full swing. Okay guys, so let me know in the comments how you find that drill. Did I make it look easy, or I've had lots of practice at it, to be fair, as I said, it's about 20 years. So back and through, give it a go. Let me know what you think, and I can guarantee the first couple of pitch shots or wedge shots that you hit after doing that will be very crisp, very soft, and a very consistent distance on your golf shots. Okay guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Before we go, if you could, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.